And greetings, friends from all around the world, broadcasting to you from Bali, where we are just about to expect our afternoon rains. Hope you are finding your way through the thicket and the storm of the death rebirth archetype. I wanted to give you just a little flashback at our recent events and flash forward at what to expect in the pipeline towards the end of the year and into the new one, and just also give you my heartfelt thanks and appreciation for all your support thus far. So, of course, we are just coming back from 3 weeks of pilgrimage hosted by my partner Helen and the Sacred Earth Journeys. We were co-led by Geshe Tenzin Zopa. We had Venerable Lindy amongst us. I had old friends and new, about 30 plus of us, on a pilgrimage of a lifetime from the Tsum Valley region all the way through the Kathmandu Valley and then into northern India all the way to the Diamond Throne. I hope very much that you enjoyed my attempt to broadcast and have you join us as a virtual pilgrim. And we were incredibly blessed. If you had a sneak peek, you may have felt a little ripple of the bliss bubble. We started, of course, in the Tsum Valley, the epicenter of Geshe Tenzin Zopa's homeland and birthplace, the site where he met his beloved mentor, Geshe Lama Konchog, who did 25 plus years solitary retreat in the mountain caves up there. He did take us, of course, to that cave. It was extremely moving. The entire pilgrimage was moving in so many ways, filled with stories and filled with direct transmissions. But one of the most important outcomes out of our 4 days in the Tsum Valley at the Rachen nunnery was our connection with the nunnery, very established and old nunnery, some parts of the nunnery over 100 years old, other parts brand new, and very much in need of our support. So we felt a very strong karmic connection to the nuns there through Geshe Tenzin Zopa's kind introduction, and we now, using Geshe Tenzin Zopa's parlance, have adopted the nunnery. So that means that in the new year, the efforts that we will be making in part will be to support the nunnery and develop a long-term relationship with them and do what we can to support the Sangha members there, but also create infrastructure for future pilgrimages there and retreats of very high caliber and very deep contemplative practice is possible there up in the Balliol in the Tsum Valley. The sky is immensely open. There's no surprise that the likes of Milarepa and Lama Konchog and great masters took to deep, very deep practice there and gained a significant realization. So it's my hope and wish, along with the cohort of my friends, to continue to support the Rachen nunnery, and I hope we will be there to inspire you to join us. The pilgrimage proper was an amazing experience. It was, in a way, just the pilgrimage to end all pilgrimages coming out of the COVID lockdowns. We all needed that deep, deep intimacy and embrace, and the personal reflections and the personal stories that came out of Geshe Tenzin Zopa were of some ilk that I've never really experienced with a master. It was truly phenomenal and special. We spent a week in the Kathmandu Valley. We got to go to all 4 of the Vajrayogini sites. We met our new friend Ankit Sinha, who is a Vajrayana scholar, and of course we adopted him too. Ankit, we love you. And we went from there into the northern Indian territory, where we hit all 4 of the major sites of the Buddha's biography, the site of his birth, death, first teaching, and enlightenment. Lumbini, Kushinagar, Sarnath, along with Varanasi, of course, and then to the Diamond Throne at Bodh Gaya, where we did take bodhisattva vows under the Bodhi tree with Geshe Tenzin Zopa. All in all, very, very blessed and very special. I think many of us, myself included, and Emily, came back from pilgrimage a little bewildered. It's like a re-entry of a rocket ship crashing back down to earth. I think many of us are just taking our time to reorient and regain our senses. I have been mulling things over. I have been sort of quiet, and I just wanted to give you a sneak preview now of some of the things that are sort of developing and how my thinking is going. To be perfectly transparent, after my move to Bali, I was not sure what the status of the Contemplative Studies program was. I had sort of been at an empty tank, if you will, after a 3-year push during the COVID pandemic and my long series, my two-year Lam Rim series, which we call the Contemplative Studies Immersion. So I was sort of low on energy and wondering if we could sustain ourselves and Obviously, a reboot was necessary, and I've had some time now post-pilgrimage to reflect on whether I want to keep going or whether we want to stop and just wipe the mandala clean. In my discussions with Geshe Tenzin Zopa, he basically said there's no disappearing. He told me there's no disappearing. So he's my teacher, and I trust him, and I'm not going to disappear. So together with some very foundational members, people that have been around me and supporting me and have shown great promise over the last few years, we will reboot the CSP, and we will develop some programming for you, and we hope to galvanize and upstart our interest again in the new year. And we do very much hope that you'll continue supporting us and that you'll continue on the journey with us. It will at some point require a communal or collective effort. The Contemplative Studies program is in need of funding for its ongoing research and offerings and programs. So at some point I'm going to really reach out to some key members, and I may be even reaching out to you. So if at some point in the past this Contemplative Studies has meant anything to you at all, if my work has ever touched you, if my research, reading, writings, or presentations have moved you in any way, please do start to think about how you might intersect when you start to hear the rollout of some of our programs, so that together we can rebuild. This is a collective effort opportunity. More details to come. I can say with great enthusiasm that I have elected to partner with the Tibet House, an old friend of ours, to launch a new program early in the new year, just to capture the attention of people who try to upstart new programs and new regimes, new ways of thinking in the new year. Some point towards the end of January, I will start a 6-week series hosted between the Contemplative Studies program and the Tibet House on the Lam Rim. Of course, that's my bread and butter. That's what I do best. We just received the transmission of the Foundations of All Good Qualities, a sacred text from the 14th century by Lama Tsongkhapa, which is 14 verses. We received the full transmission and commentary along the way, locating the verses and corresponding them to the sacred sites of the pilgrimage. So I thought it'd be auspicious if I do my best attempt to offer that to those that weren't on the pilgrimage, and it would be a review for those that did come on the pilgrimage. So look for that announcement. The Lam Rim series anew in the new year with Tibet House, coming to you soon. Some other upcoming events are the revamp of the website. Again, there'll be some new faces offering you some different kinds of program. We have some great collaborations here on the island of Bali. Emily and I have been here since July. The kids are doing really well in school. My relationship with the wizard, Tjok Gde Kerthyasa, and his team at Tirtha Osada is developing very nicely. By the way, Tjok Gde, the wizard, has just launched his own certificate program in alchemy. So if you look in the notes below, you'll find his site. I strongly recommend it, and because I love him and adore his integrity, I love to send any of you interested to his certificate program, which starts very soon, so do check it out. But he and I will, of course, partner together. We'll do some lectures together, and hopefully we'll do some deeper programming together. He's the reason I came, and I always have a great affection for the wizard. In addition to that, of course, we have upcoming pilgrimages with the wizard and Geshe Tenzin Zopa. Helen and I will roll out one more annual pilgrimage each year. Next year we'll come to Java and Bali. I'll be able to receive you as more of a hometown boy, but of course we'll leave the stewardship to the wisdom keepers of the island. Tjok Gde Kerthyasa and Maya Kerthyasa, his sister, will guide us through Bali. We'll also have an expert guide at Borobudur, the largest mandala on the planet. We will do some very deep ceremonies for world peace there. I'll give some talks based on my new book, Return with Elixir. Geshe Tenzin Zopa will be there with casting his spells and creating magic for all of us. And so I'm greatly appreciative to Helen and all the work that she did at Sacred Earth Journeys to make the trip magical. Looking forward to partnering with her next year. And I have now a strong commitment from Geshe Tenzin Zopa for future pilgrimages. Every year, he told me, we will go together. He held my hand on the flight coming back from Bodh Gaya to Delhi, and he said, "Thank you so much for all that you do to put the pilgrimages together." He said, "We learned more in 2 weeks on the road at sacred sites than is ever possible in months and months of study." And he grabbed my hand and he said, "I am with you." Wow, what a great blessing. So if he's with me and I'm with you, that means we get to share pilgrimages together. That's the direction I've always wanted to go. I'm slowly moving out of individual work and more into pilgrimage, more into workshops. I'm wanting to really reach more people. So that's my wish and that's my intention. Of course, with Geshe Tenzin Zopa's blessing and sometimes a good swift kick in the ass. We all need that. Another point of interest is, of course, my book is in good swing and in good hands. Alice Peck, my editor from Gradual Awakening, is helping me with the new book. The new book is on its way. It fuses together the lines of thinking from Joseph Campbell's monomyth, The Hero's Journey. It combines that with shadow work from Carl Jung, and it combines that with Tibetan alchemy, and it provides a kind of synthesis for rebirth. I mean, because, of course, the collective prospect of the planet is undergoing its own rebirth. Rebirth is no doubt the archetype of our time, and so I thought it would be timely to draw on the meta maps of these respective wisdom traditions and actually fuse them into one meta map. So I'm working with an expert artist and illustrator who remains unnamed, but she and I are working together to see if we can construct some very, very beautiful, stunning maps and converge them into a single timepiece or meta map that really fuses the insights and captures the insights of several esoteric traditions to help us navigate the terrain that we're in. So I hope that you'll stay close to my work on Return with the Elixir. I do think it's timely. I do think it's relevant on a personal level, on a sociological level, on a planetary level, on a reincarnation level, soul level. So that's my work, and that's the book, and that's coming soon, published by Inner Traditions. Along with that, we have several new opportunities on the island of Bali. I'm busy away. Emily and I are busy away. We're probably going to remain here. The kids are really doing really well here at the Green School in Bali, which is a wall-less environment, both physically wall-less, but also wall-less in its mentality, which I think, for example, Bodhi was struggling in a conventional school and in a way very subtly pathologized, and within a very short time in Bali, he was received as a human being, as a whole human being, unpathologized, accepted in a much broader perspective, a much longer timeline, given the love and unconditional presence, what our kids are capable of when we give them that kind of message. So I feel that is in a way a symbol of what Bali is going through right now. There's so many interesting people here, entrepreneurial spirit. We understand that the planet is going through regeneration. We understand that we have to think things more clearly in terms of how we build, how we consume, how we spend, how we gather, how we, what we develop, how we share. So there's a really just a very inspiring energy to be part of. So I'm very happy to be networking here. I have some good collaborations in the pipeline. Those collaborations will end up reaching you in some way and offering you an opportunity to intersect with our work, whether it be with regenerative farming or with alchemy or with natural medicine or with new ecological, economic, or political ideas, all grounded, of course, in the Bodhisattva resolve from the Tibetan Buddhist point of view. This period that we're entering is one in which each of us have to rise to the challenge, to the occasion, but the energy in which we rise to the occasion matters more than anything that we might do. The energy is really, really key right now. I've been observing the polarization in the United States, and more shocking and more bewildering is the level of animosity and division and divisiveness. I think this is totally unproductive. It doesn't matter to me what side you're on. What matters is the level of integrity, authenticity, and virtue that you bring to your discussion and your activism. Everybody has a shadow, and everybody has a blind spot, and so we all have work to do. And so this whole thing about beating your chest and pointing fingers at the other side, I think is I'm sort of over that. Everybody has to take responsibility. Everybody has to be a mature, open-hearted, caring, and actually have to face the shadow. We have to face the things that we do not like. We have to face the cultural shadow. We have to face the people, attitudes, beliefs, and actions. But how matters. How we do that matters. And so in the spirit of that Bodhisattva resolve, there is another point of interest I'd like to just convey to you, which is the documentary film that was shot on pilgrimage by my good friend Phil O'Leary and his team. I mean, they captured some unbelievable moments, and I think Phil is going to construct a historic film. Truly, I believe that. And if any of you have seen the first film of Geshe Tenzin Zopa, The Unmistaken Child, and saw his open-heartedness and his devout guru devotion and were touched by him, I think you're going to find when this film comes out, it is a representation of Geshe Tenzin Zopa's maturity and his own evolution. I think you're seeing in a 10-year span his incredible development, which is so inspiring. He was far more vulnerable and had shared Dharma in a much more powerful and effective way than just teaching on the high throne. It was poolside Dharma. It was Dharma through stories. It was Dharma through emotions. It was Dharma through intimacy. It was Dharma through the immediacy of the connection with individuals. A lot of this was captured, and I think it's going to really broadcast the right message for the moment, which is rising to the Bodhisattva vow, rising to the level of integrity, increasing our vibration, decreasing our polarization, watching our blind spot, making sure that even if we can't affect change in the moment, how we go about building does matter. The intention does matter. We have to keep coming back to that. So all in all, between the pilgrimages, the reboot of the CSP, the documentary film, the book, the programming at the outset of the new year with the Lam Rim, I think these are all ways to intersect with us. We have a new North Star with the Rachen nunnery, 50-some nuns in this beautiful old gompa. So much practice and devotion there. It is truly inspiring. We have, as a community, really emphasized the nuns over the last 4 or 5 years since the launch of Gradual Awakening. We've helped support Kopan Nunnery. We've helped support the Dorje Zung Nunnery in Zanskar. We had the fortune and pleasure now to support the Rachen Nunnery, and now we're making more of a lifelong commitment, and we're going to ask each of you to join us in not only supporting our efforts at CSP, but supporting those nuns in the high Tsum Valley. And join us on pilgrimage, join us on programming, read the books, come into the study groups that our facilitators are offering. All in all, I'm very, very excited. I feel re-energized, I feel rebooted, I feel more clear about the direction. A lot of it is thanks to Geshe Tenzin Zopa. A lot of it is thanks to Emily for supporting me. A lot of it is thanks to my team. A lot of it is thanks to my collaborators, but I have to just take a moment to thank each and every one of you, those people that have been following me for a long time, those people that have been my students for a very long time, New York-based, Canada-based, West Coast-based, international. Thank you so much to each and every one of you for hanging out. I have been laying low. I haven't been producing much. This has been a period of reflection for me. Now I'm starting to come into clarity, and I will be pushing things forward. I will be creating opportunities for you to continue study and your practice and building our community. It is a modest community, it is a humble community, but it is an honest community and a tight community. We're not here to make money. We're not here to break records. We are here to study in the authentic lineage of Geshe Tenzin Zopa and gain some modest realization so that we can pay it forward in our civilization at a time where it needs us most. So thank you to all of those old friends. Thank you also to the new friends. You may have intersected with me on Instagram. You may have intersected with me on a new pilgrimage. You may have intersected with me here in Bali. Thank you so much for being an inspiration, being a source of support, offering kind words, being interested and showing enthusiasm. All of this is wind in my sails. Can't wait to build with and for you. And the island of Bali I want to thank, of course, because it's got such an explosive energy of intensity but also inspiration. And so all in all, I feel really inspired, and I look forward to sharing that inspiration with you. Keep an eye on this space as we drop information that will allow you to intersect with us. And until then, all best wishes.